One of the questions I get asked the most in the Arabesque studio is how to put together a fabric pool. And I do understand that this can be really difficult because picturing your finished project with pattern and colour in different places can be really tricky. So I'd like to share a few principles that I use whether I'm choosing something bright and bold, very patterned, very muted. There are some simple principles that you can follow so that you can be pretty confident that you're going to love the finished outcome. So when I'm choosing fabric for a functional project where I don't want the pattern and colour to overwhelm the little details like pockets and flaps, then I'll restrict my fabric pool to between 3 and 5 prints. So you can see here for this version of the Crafted Life Companion notebook cover that I've got 3 prints here, one for the flap, one for the front cover and one for the spine. And this gives a really nice cohesive look where I've actually used 2 different bold prints, but they're not both vying for attention. So let's look at another fabric pool that I'm putting together for my next Crafted Life Companion. Now, when I'm putting together a fabric pool for a project like this, I always like to start with a hero print. And this will be a print that I have just fallen in love with. It's magnetizing because of its pattern or its color or both. And I'm going to use this as the base for choosing all the other fabrics that go along with it. So in this case, I've got this lovely print from Art Gallery Fabrics. This is from the Flower Fields collection. And you can see that it's quite bold. It's got quite a lot of color going on in it. And it's a really cute floral that I'll be able to draw some other colors and patterns out and be able to put this together. Now, a lot of the sewing patterns that I've been designing lately are stationary items, and so I'm trying to overcome some of the fabric look and bring in a bit more of a paper quality to some of what I'm doing. So some of the fabrics that I choose according to this idea. So one of the ways that I like to do this is on the spine of the project, I'll choose a small stripe, and I'm going to run this horizontally around the spine so that your eye is drawn around that end of that book. Now, when we put this together with the hero print, you can see I've chosen this because it's got some of the lovely blue in it. But another reason this works really well is because it's a different scale. And this is my second principle that I like to use. After I choose my hero print, then I will play with pattern and scale for some of my other fabrics. So the third fabric that I'm choosing for the front of this Crafted Life Companion is a very small scale, cute print that you can see ties in with the hero print and in with the spine. It's got some of the lovely blues, it's got some of the oranges and the yellows, and it's a very different scale. This is actually what we call a low volume print because it will read as white because there's a lot of white space on the print. Now you might be saying, Ali, I want to include way more prints and colours in my fabric pools. And what's exciting is when you're sewing something that's got an inside, that gives you a whole new colour palette that you can play with so that you can add in more patterns and draw out different scales and different colour ranges than what you've already included on the front. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to put on the inside of this Crafted Life Companion. So for the inside of my notebook, I'm going to be including this really sweet green muted colour. It's got flowers all over it with little peachy coloured centres. And you can see that this does tie in quite well with what we've already got here. If I put this all on the front together, this would be really busy, but this is going to be on the inside, and so you're not going to see this all at once, but it gives you a chance to feature another print that you might be really in love with and you don't want to leave out. Now, this is what I'm going to be using for my pockets on the inside. Now, this is another one that ties in beautifully with the hero print. It's a different scale again. It's got a little bit more white space. It works really well across the range of all of them, but you're not going to see this all together with everything all at once. And then I've got even another fabric here. I'm going to use this one on the lining. Now, altogether, this is looking very busy, but what you need to realize is the lining is going to be hidden 99% by the book when it's inside. And so you're only going to see little pops of this, but it ties in very nicely with the rest of the range. Now I have one more trick up my sleeve that I'd like to show you. So if this number of fabrics is still not enough for the kind of fabric pools that you like to do, then I'd like to show you my little wild card. Now I have this fabric here that I am really in love with as well, and as you can see it's very busy, very bold, very dense floral fabric, and I could very easily include this as a hero print for another whole project. But I have a way that I can include this with this project without overwhelming it by making it too busy. So what I'm going to be doing is making some piping out of this. Now that's going to mean that this is going to be only seen in a really thin strip. So I'm going to put some piping around the flap of this project, which means that you'll see pops of this colour against different parts of the rest of the fabric pool, and it's going to look really sweet together without looking too busy and overwhelming with too much pattern. So I hope to make more videos in future on how I put together different fabric pools, because I have so many different fabric types that I like, and not all of it is pink and pretty. Some of them are quite masculine, some of them are quite geometric, some of them are dark and moody. So I hope this little ramble on how I've chosen this particular fabric pool has been useful for you and gives you a little bit of confidence to go and pull out of your stash and put together a fabric pool that you are really in love with.